Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about being self-taught. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, I am a self-taught full-stack developer. I've only been part of an internship so far, worked on free projects and similar sorts of things. Why is it not as easy as I thought to get my first junior software developer role? Well, because you don't have any experience. That's it right there, really. Well, you think you have experience, and like if we go by the true definition of what experience means, then yes, you have experience. It's just that you don't have any quality experience, and nobody really cares about. Or for the most part, very few companies they don't give a shit about if you've been an intern or if you've worked on some free projects or something like that. Like what's in demand is the professional grade software developer experience. That is the thing that is the gold standard of all of IT. There are many benefits to having internships, and they are definitely being part of free project. I mean, if you are part of I don't know what a free project means, but I'm assuming here that you're not part of an open source community or something like that. But I mean, if you are, these sorts of things do have an impact. They are definitely valued, but as I stated, it is if you have nothing else, uh, you are still considered to be about as useful as someone who doesn't know anything about programming, practically. You have a higher value, but it's I don't know how to put it. It's the difference is like you saying that, oh, well, I am a really good football player in the minor leagues, or in like as this is something me and my friends do on the after like once every month or something like that, versus what the people are looking for, which are the major league players. They're looking for people who are proven to have been doing this at a more serious level than what you have proven, and that's the thing that you're fighting. You're fighting the the preconception a lot of companies have that if you don't have professional grade software experience, you're worthless. Now the thing is, you're not worthless. You're just an investment. And that brings us to the second part of this, because it's not like every single software company isn't like they're not. Uh, it's not. It's a two-parter. It's not that you are worthless. It is just that the vast majority of IT companies are looking for people who will be productive fairly immediately. That's what you're fighting. That's the thing that they're looking for. They're not interested in hiring a software developer that they need to train. Most of them are not, at the very least. Some of them are, and we're going to touch on that as well because those are important to mention. But I think I really need to drive this home to you guys. The demand that you hear, that software developers are in such demand, and like there's so many jobs, all of this is true. It's all true, even in the even with the remote work situation, with the corona thing, and like all of these things. It's all true. There's an enormous demand, but you have to be a mid-level at the very least. And that means that you have at least now 1 to 5 years of experience in that range. That is the minimum for practically every single job that you can possibly imagine. If you don't have that, you are like nothing to the vast majority of the industry, because they are not looking to find someone to train. They are looking for someone who will be able to make them money, and you will not be able to make them money. And I don't care how good of an intern you are, or how, if you work what like I mean, it's hard to say when you work on free projects, because I mean you could be a senior super developer depending on the product that you are contributing to. But on average, as an intern, you're practically useless. You're just a cost to the company that they have to invest in. I'm sorry to say that. However, then you have the other group of companies who are actually looking to hire more like graduates or people who might be at the lower skill level, such as, I mean, even if you have 1 year of experience, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're in a high demand. I would say the comfort range for most companies is going to be found at 2, 3 to 4 years minimum. That's where the comfort range usually is, where you can start to see that, well, there's actually quite a high demand for me. Uh, but with that said, there are still a lot of companies who are hiring junior developers or people who are experienced enough that they can be considered junior developers. But that brings us to the other problem, which is that if you're hiring junior developers, well, now you're going to have to stand out. And just because you did an internship or you have worked on some free projects, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're standing out. So you need to have a look at if you have a CV that markets your skills well. You need to have a look at what are relevant tools, what are relevant skills that people are looking for, so that you actually so that you understand what it is that you are selling, and what and even more importantly, what other people are buying. Because if you are, I mean, I don't know anything about what you've done, but let's say that you are a C programmer and you did an internship for C. Well, I can probably practically tell you that that's going to be a rough road for you, because most of the companies who are hiring C programmers are really interested in skilled C programmers, because the complexity of the lower level systems development is usually fairly high. Like, there's usually a fair bit of experience involved in some of that work, as opposed to, and then you, in your region, it might be that everybody's looking for a web developer, and then now you're faced with that choice. Do you want to move or learn web, or like change careers, or what are you going to do? So that's like, it doesn't give me a lot of I don't have so much to work on or work with when you simply say that. I mean, I just don't know the situation. So that's why you need to take a look at the companies who are hiring junior developers. What are they looking for? What skills are they after? And do you actually have the skills that are required to get to be applicable for a position at the companies who are actually even looking for junior developers? So what I want you to take away from this is that the reason why you most likely have underestimated how hard it is to get a software developer's job is because everybody tells you that there's a high demand for software developers, and that is absolutely true. It's just that you have failed, or they have failed. Somewhere in the communication, somebody has failed to tell you that the industry doesn't give a shit about a software developer who doesn't know how to work as a professional. Most of the companies don't give, they're not interested in you, not even a little. Like, you can call them, and most of them will just turn you down. Like, they won't even give you the time of day, because from their perspective, they will not be able to make money from you. And one part of that is true, because you need training, and they are not willing to give you that training, or they're unable to give you that training because they're running their company based on, or in a manner that really only favors people who already kind of know what they're doing. And that is not your fault. It's not, and I mean, you can't fault them for running their business in the way that they are running it. So that's already like, that's, I will just be honest with you, that's like 80% of all the companies just out the door for most of you, or for most people who have no experience. And the 20% that is left, they're going to have requirements on what they're looking for in a junior developer, and usually it's going to be things such as people who are standing out, people who have, like, because basically what you're trying to prove when you have no experience or so forth is that you're trying to prove that you are good enough or close enough to someone who's going to be productive, that people should take a chance on you. And that's because that is what you are. You are an investment, and everybody wants to make a good investment. And if you give people a good gut feeling about how passionate you are, because enthusiasm counts for a lot, then you will most likely get the callback at some point. But it's going to be tough for a lot of you. Some of you are going to, like, some people are really, really lucky and they just get in immediately, but most that will actually have to try a little bit, because it might be a little bit difficult. And so you need to take a look at, how do I actually market my CV and my skills in the best way possible? And that usually entails looking at the tools you know, and looking at the tools that people are looking for. Go to the job postings, have a look at the companies who are hiring junior developers. What are they looking for? And see if you can structure your profile in that manner, because you can practically forget that you just took an internship, like a random thing, and then you're going to get a job just because you have coding skills. It does not mean that you are valuable. It's much more complicated than that. You need coding skills in the relevant area so that companies who are hiring actually see that, yeah, this person seems to be a good fit for the sort of work that we do in this company. Without that, it's yeah, you're pretty much you're not going to get into the industry. So really think about that. Match your CV towards the thing that people are hiring. Have a great day.